In a world where quality business information is needed, we bring you On the Mic with Mike, the leading social enterprise business show in RVA. Join Mike King, the partnership guru, as he delivers game changers in Metro RVA. On the Mic with Mike showcases how business can help make society better. He discusses tech, culture, innovation, best business practices, and highlighting area nonprofits. Join Mike Monday through Friday because it is the place where the best and brightest come to chat.
Business show in RVA. On the mic with Mike in RVA.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with me. The views expressed here are mine, have no connection to, support of, agreement with any other host. Information ads on the station. I don't work for the station. My program just airs here on a daily basis. So join me as our cutting edge show. We uplift the community and showcase RVA in a different way. The sounds you're listening to are emanating from the Mike King Biz Studio, which is the global epicenter of social enterprise business. You can follow me on all social platforms, hashtag On the Mic with Mike, as well as Mike King Biz. I'd like to thank our show sponsors who are out there. We have a number of them. Make sure you take a listen to them during the advertising. That some of them would be the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce, Bryan and Stratton. The Chesterfield Chamber, as I had said, Fast Signs, Rob White, Junk Luggers, Andy Taylor. We have a number of leadership consultants, my man Chris Mayfield, Anchor, and Jerry Howard, as well as a leadership doc, Dr. Heather Williamson. So, On the Mic with Mike. I tell you, we bring the best and the brightest. So I'm down at minding my business. I'm just a public servant. I have friends down at the Hilton, my home, in the afternoons. So, hey, if you ever need hotel space or hotel rooms or event space, make sure you go check out our good friends down at the Hilton. John will take care of you. So Catherine and John are down there talking about a man who's doing extraordinary things in the community. Chuck, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
All right, get a little closer to the mic for us.
Okay.
All right, there we go. You can lift up. There we go. All righty. So, and like I always say, it's a business show. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Chuck Caple, Executive Director of Hope for Learning Foundation, local nonprofit here in Midlothian, Virginia. We serve underprivileged kids in Title I schools, K through 5. We focus on literacy, grade level reading, and we also feed the kids also at the Title I schools.
All righty. So when you talk about, and I asked you how you got into that, right? You're an educator, now you're going over into the world. And you said you want to deal with the kids because sometimes kids and food insecurity with food, sometimes it extends when they go home.
Yeah. A lot of the kids, a lot of the schools we serve get support from groups like Feed More, but the need for food is still a little extensive. A lot of the kids don't have food when they go home in the evening, from between the time they go home to come back in the morning, and a lot of kids don't have food on the weekend. So a lot of the schools we work with have asked us to supplement what we do by providing food.
Alrighty, so you help the students through the schools. Now, your organization, let's talk about that. So you got a whole crew, you got a big, massive team working this, don't you?
No,
That's not like that.
Just a board, and I have a board. I have people I can delegate stuff to, but I wear a lot of hats.
I'm sure you do.
I want to make sure things are done the way I want them done and done right. So I want to have my hands in everything. So I pretty much do everything. I'm the executive director. I'm the supplier. I'm the delivery guy. I'm everything.
That's what happens. I always say changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. Let's talk about some of the people who support you. Now, it takes a lot for a nonprofit to make it work. So you want to shout out any businesses, any people who, really help you guys out?
Well, I definitely want to shout out to the Hilton, because they're the one that was sort of the liaison between you and me.
That's right, and they've been shouting your name out. All right, so Catherine said, I'm gonna give your info to Chuck, and Chuck is gonna call you. And she said he's gonna call you in a hurry. And you know what, you call me in a hurry. And because you know what happens, you have to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
If you just stand there and wait on magic to happen, it ain't happening.
That's right.
So you feel like strongly about helping the kids out. So what is it that your organization needs? So if you're providing services for the people. So you're out there trying to make it happen. What is it that, and how can people help and support you?
That's a good question, Mike, because see, we need, what we need is the essential stuff. We need funding. We need supporters. We need that database of monthly donors because, you know, in my other business I worked at for 30 years, I was really accustomed to being the new kid on the block sometimes, an underdog, so to speak. And there was always this phrase that always went around in business. And they always say, well, you don't have enough experience. You need more experience. So, and I always tell the people that I train over the years, I said, you know, in order to get experience, somebody got to give you experience, you know? And so we don't want this, we don't want organizations and people in the community to always just to reach out to the big people, you know, the feed mowers and the communities and schools and the United Way and stuff like that. So we do the same kind of work. We do the same things, the same job. We just need that support, you know. And so we're looking for support by way of monetary support mostly, and because we have a lot of partners we work with, so we don't really necessarily need partners or need to understand the logistics to getting partners, but we need to get that funding.
One of my Chuck is here with us, and the name of the program is Hope for Learning Foundation. So when you put this together, the people out there got dreams. When you looked at it, you said, man, I didn't put these 38 years in. I want to make a difference now. How do you go from that idea to making it happen?
Well, I guess it has some type of connection because in my other business, I was an educator in a different field, but not necessarily in schools, but in the hair and beauty industry. So I was an educator and I traveled all over. And so working with the kids is still sort of like having my hand in education, you know, and I just feel like education is always the key. And so, and I wanted to work with the smaller kids because I told somebody one time, I said, I didn't want to work with K through 12, work with the middle school and the high school as much because if you don't get a chance to get them when they're young and curb their enthusiasm, then you're not going to be.
It's kind of tough when
it's going to be tough when you get older. Yeah, it's going to be tough when you go. I spent a lot of years training, teaching adults. You know, people who've already had their minds made up, who've already had their education, who already had chips on their shoulders, who already felt they knew everything.
It's always a tough deal in that.
And so you got to deal with that kind of people. So when I wanted to work with the kids, I said we get them while they're young, because a group called the Literacy Project out of California has statistics, and they say that a child is 2 years old, brain is as active as an adult then. And at the age of 3, it's twice as active as an adult, and it stays that way for the first 10 years of life. So that's the prime time to get them when they got that strength in that mindset to work with them then. But if you don't get them then and you let them go too late, it's too late.
So you're in the process, you're launching the organization, you're getting up, you got an idea how you want to work, you start out and you're going, things are going okay. When did you realize I got something here, that this is really something, it's making an impact?
Well, I think it caught on to me because early on I made a connection with communities and schools in Chesterfield and Richmond, and executive director of communities and schools in Chesterfield. We really hit it off, and they really supported us. You know, they didn't necessarily have to help us. They could have just went the other way, but they helped us a lot. They made those connections, and we work a lot with them. And so because of that connection, we started making other connections. So I felt like then we really had something going on. And also I found out too that generally speaking, people generally want to help people, right, especially on the nonprofit side. When you mention that word nonprofit, people automatically say, okay, it's my civic duty to do something. I want to do something, so they naturally want to help. And so when I start getting that good support, like communities and schools, and when you meet people like Catherine over at the Hilton, man, I mean, when you get those kind of people in your corner, man, it just gives you that momentum to keep going.
And as Chuck is here with us, doing some outstanding work in the community, how can people find you guys out there?
Okay, you can go to our website, which is hopeforlearning.org. That's HOPEFORLEARNING.org. FOR. I always want to spell it out because a lot of people think it's Hope for Learning. It's number 4, but it's HOPEFORLEARNING.org. Go to our website and you can find any information you want on the website, what we do, things we do, people we work with. We have a giving page on that website. Actually, every page on the website has a donate button on there.
Just so that people, that like young people, you're gonna get the message, right?
Yeah.
At some point, you ain't going to look for the button, they help us.
That's
The
right.
button's gonna be there every time.
Right.
When we talked before we got on air, you talked about like food insecurities for kids. And so now, being from cities, we understand summertime is always a tough time. There are kids who, that summer lunch program is a big deal. A lot of times, and coming through the pandemic, we also realized the importance of helping people out outside of schools. Let's talk about what that meant, like getting kids meals and stuff like that, and how it helps them.
Yeah, it really helps because I had a conversation with one of the site coordinators from Communities and Schools of Chesterfield about a year ago. And we were talking about, we had made a donation to the school and we were talking about food. And she said something that really stuck out. She said, Chuck, if the kids are hungry, they can't focus.
For sure.
She said, how can they learn if they're hungry? And so it also made me realize too that, it's 2022 in the United States of America. We're not in a third world country. I had the opportunity to work in South Africa extensively, and I saw how people live there. And, I said, it's amazing how they live and how they survive off a little of nothing. And they were always so appreciative and so grateful. I said, but we're not in a third world country. And to find out, once I got into the nonprofit sector, I never knew that we had a food insecurity problem here.
No,
I never knew that.
Because a lot of times it's not in our world.
Yeah.
It's like, or like a person who said, we do it a lot here with nonprofits. And I always say, everyone will help the big nonprofits.
Yeah.
They got a big feed more than the rest of them. They got big budgets. They got a lot of people. Who's helping the nonprofit who is Chuck or who is Mindy from Hitting Cancer Below the Belt? Who's helping them who has maybe 1 or 2 employees, 38 volunteers trying to change the world?
Yeah.
So it's not, sometimes those things aren't in our world. We just live in our life until somebody shines a light on it. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, food insecurity. And then you realize it's a lot of people out of pride, a lot of times won't let people go get the help as well.
Yeah, because I didn't, I never knew when I heard people say that, kids don't have food once they get home in the afternoon until they go back to school next morning. I said, really? I just thought that you see people on the street corner with a sign up saying they'll work for food or whatever like that. You say they probably don't have things to eat, but I never even could fathom that there were kids in our counties and cities that don't eat in the evening and don't have food on the weekend. I mean, in 2022, I just couldn't wrap my mind around it for a long time, but now I see it's prevalent. That's just the way it is. And so, it makes you want to do more. Sometimes I have to try to focus because I get a little distracted sometimes, get off track from our main mission. And I'm focusing a lot so much now on food that, it's like, in other words, what I'm trying to say, the kids at that age, K through 5, kindergarten, 5th grade, they need so much stuff. It's just not reading literacy. It's not just food. It's so many things. I mean, some of the stories I've heard, man, it'll just blow your mind.
And that's the sad part. I mean, because like you said, when you go to other countries and, thanks to Uncle Sam's Army, I've seen and been a lot of places, people wake up every day to come to America because of land opportunity. So when we see food insecurity or housing insecurity, all of a sudden it's kind of shocking to you because let's say you see what it looks like in other places. When other places people are poor, we're talking they might make $30 a year or something like that. And when they get something, they're appreciative. But when you think about here, when the school day is over, sometimes kids don't have food at home. So, congratulations to you guys. Anything that I can do to help out, just, let me know. When you guys have the fundraiser type, like I said, we have something for you. So on the mic with Mike, any events you guys got coming up that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of back to school stuff right now. We're having on August 10th next week, We're having an event at the Hilton downtown Richmond. We're going to be, they already have a container, a huge container down there with our sign and everything. So you can actually come by since last week and drop stuff off in that basket.
Oh, so that's what John was talking
Yeah,
about.
you got a basket now. You can drop supplies off there. You can drop food off if you want. You can drop books off if you want. On the 10th, we're going to be there from 3 o'clock to about 6:30.
You're gonna be there with us that day.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a meet and greet where I can actually meet with people. We're gonna hand out fact sheets, some one pages. We're also right there in the center of the happy hour. So we're gonna all that incorporate together, and we're gonna try to get as many people involved in that. And we also have a huge container set up. We have it every year down at the Walmart Super Center at Hull Street at Winter Park, Hancock Village. They have a container down there. We keep that container for an entire month, where you can come by and drop off school supplies when you come in and shop and drop it off. We'll also be outside in the front of the store this Saturday at 2 o'clock, and on the 12th in the morning at Walmart with a table and a tent set up there to take in more supplies. And we'll also be at my location at Hull Street at 10301 Hull Street Road, out in the parking lot with the tent on Thursday and Friday of the next week. And so we're doing that. And the only other event we have coming up is our silent auction, but that's not until November.
All right, well, make sure you keep us informed. On the Mike and Mike, I'd like to thank you for coming in. So you can find us here on the Mike and Mike. This is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, ESPN Richmond 106.1 every day from 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 105.3 every day from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. One last time, how can people find you? Okay, you can find us at hopeforlearning.org. That's HOPEFOR, hopeforlearning.org. And we're at 10301 Hull Street Road. You can also call us at 804-323-6712. And again, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Hope for Learning. We're also on Twitter, Hope for Learning Foundation, Hope for Learning on Instagram. And so you can reach us on those ways. Again, we'll go to our website. You can get any information you want on our website. The store is there, the volunteer page is there, the giving page, everything. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do. They're out there changing the world. Let's give them a hand, helping them get done what they need to get done because, hey, the kids are involved. They are doing some outstanding things. Shout out to good friends down at the Hilton, as well as Walmart. I'd like to thank those guys for jumping in, providing space. On the Mike and Mike, we talk to the best and the brightest, and Chuck clearly is it. I will talk to you soon.